Well, thank you very much indeed for your prayers for us throughout the month of January. We're now into February, and I want to bring you the international update for this month. It was my privilege just a couple of weeks ago to be in our headquarters in Germany, meeting with 170 newcomers who've joined our fellowship. We thank God for every one of them, and we ask you to pray that they'll settle in to teams which have been established for some months now around the world. Please pray for a good settling in process. I'm sure you've been concerned and praying about Kenya. Post-election violence has left over 500 dead, and we need to pray for this country and for violence around the world, sometimes against Christians. Beginning on Christmas Eve, Hindu extremists in Orissa, India, set off a wave of violence called the largest attack on the Christian community in the history of democratic India. Thousands of Christians hid in forests while mobs burned or destroyed 730 homes and 95 churches. A number of Christians were killed, many others are missing. The Dalits, amongst whom we are ministering, particularly in OM, were the main group affected by the violence. The number of reported attacks on Christians in India during 2007 surpassed 1,000, and that's the first time that's happened since India's independence in 1947. We need to pray for peace, but we also need to pray for courage for those who are living and working in India, and for comfort for our brothers and sisters who've been affected by this violence. As you know, in Afghanistan, 21 Korean workers were kidnapped this past summer. Many people thought that that kidnapping and the 2 deaths associated with that kidnapping would mean that far fewer missionaries would come out from that country. We were concerned, writes our Korean leader, that this situation might cause a decrease in number of workers this year. But praise God, we saw an increase, particularly in the second half of the year. 60 new applicants joined OM during that period. From Central Asia, there's a lovely story of a situation where Muslim officials threatened to jail Karina, a Christian from a Muslim background living in a Russian-controlled area, and they were going to imprison her if she continued to coordinate sending Muslim children to our summer camp there. After reading a special translation of the Bible for Muslims in Central Asia, the regional governor concluded there's nothing in the book for people to fear, and he actually offered to protect her. Please pray for the distribution of the Eastern Russian translation of the Bible that the governor read. In Turkey, a Muslim policeman asked to meet someone from our church in Osman. So our worker says, I took the risk and met him in a park. I suppressed my skepticism as we shook hands. Osman had been searching for truth for 5 years. He'd begun watching the new Turkish Christian TV channel, joined by his wife and daughter. One night the daughter had a dream in which Jesus appeared to her, and after that she declared, I've decided to follow Jesus and I'll never turn back. They told other relatives, and now 10 family members are attending that church. Please pray for the ongoing ministry in Turkey. Teen Street, over 340 attended Teen Street Malaysia in December. Participants came from many countries. This year, their race raised over 24,000 RM towards OM's work, and that was particularly for people living with HIV/AIDS. Right now, Teen Street reunions are going on in various places. In January, there was a reunion in Sweden where more than 80 teenagers took part. The guys who are filming me here have recently been in Ireland just this past weekend for Teen Street Ireland. So please pray for the ongoing work of Teen Street. Now, not just a week in the summer, but an ongoing ministry the year round. You may have been surprised to hear of Logos 2 sailing again to the Caribbean. That decision was made for several reasons. We had hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of Spanish books sitting in the warehouse. And there's high demand in that part of the world for both Christian and quality educational literature. It just seemed to make sense to us, with everything involved and continuing delays in the work on Logos Hope, to sail Logos 2 one more time. Please pray for this voyage of approximately 6 months to the Caribbean. Pray that the ministry and the book distribution will be a great blessing to the church there. We continue to work on Logos Hope. We need a passenger safety certificate before active service can begin. It's all dependent, of course, on money coming, on skilled craftspeople coming at the right time, but the present goal is to try and get Logos Hope moving from Kiel to a port, probably in Scandinavia, in May, where we'll put a generator into the ship, and active service will begin as soon as that generator is installed. But we still need plumbers, joiners, etc. If you can help us, please be in touch. In Austria, we're preparing for the European soccer tournament, sadly without the English football team. Takes place in June, and we need about 60 people to join us for evangelistic teams to share and care for the people visiting that tournament. In France, hundreds of teens have experienced friendship with Jesus through Teen Street over the years. Now a regular youth activity called Link Up has begun. It's going to take place 5 times a year, an ongoing discipleship program. Very quickly, in the Czech Republic, we've just started 8 weeks of prayer and fasting. Different people fasting at different times, don't be too worried, different people at different times. Just seeking God's will for our ministry there. Finally, I just want to mention our international leaders meetings. 260 of our leaders from around the world will gather at the end of this month in Mospark. It's our annual meeting. It's the most important meeting of the year as far as fellowship, strategy, input is concerned, and we'd appreciate your prayers. You can get the full international update online. Please keep praying, and thank you for your support.